I'll be your host for this evening, Eric Waller, and I have three guests joining me on the panel this afternoon. To my extreme right, we have Bill Herrin. To my near right, we have Braden Harman, and to my left, we have Spencer Hughes. They've been kind enough to join me for this discussion, so let's thank them all for being present here. We're going to open the discussion with The Tireless, the Terrific, a controversial art sculpture that some people believe is tacky, but some people believe it brings a lot of flavor and life to this campus. Bill, we're going to let you open up the discussion this evening.
I can't imagine what kind of flavor and life it brings to this campus, first off. I mean, true, yes, people have worked hard on it and they're probably proud of their work, and we shouldn't really bash on it, but it's tacky. It's like 25 feet tall, the legs on it are like 12 feet, and the body's like this big around. It's a blight on our campus.
I agree. The colors are all screwed up. Well, it's anatomically correct, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. Shouldn't be here.
Well, you must remember now, when you join this college, this is a school of the arts. So it's really a big plus for a lot of art majors that come here for SAU to have something of this nature on display that gets the critical review that it does, because it is considered a great piece of work.
Well, I haven't seen it, but just by using my imagination of the description that I've gotten from it, I don't think it's something that withhold the standards that SAU has for its art department, just by what I've heard from it, about it, and the responses I've gotten from it. But I don't know, I guess art is in the eye of the beholder, so.
But do you think the students should have a say-so before something like this is brought to the campus, or do you think it should be strictly a faculty?
I believe the students should have most of the say in it, because it reflects on us directly. People come to visit the campus and they see something like that, they don't go, well, the faculty shouldn't have put that up there. They go, what in the world? These people are weird here, you know. They got this 25-foot tall horse with this Indian standing up on top of it out in their courtyard.
Well, I can see your point there, but I think we must show respect. And even if you're not interested in art, I think we need to have a respect and admire the work that this lady has done on this, and it is considered a good piece of work in the art world. So I think we ought to show the respect and be courteous enough to let her display it on our campus.
It would be all right to display if it were something that looked halfway decent. I don't mind a display of our art department being on campus at all. That does not bother me at all. But something that is I don't know, the only word I can think of is ugly. It is just, it's horrid. Just right there. I have no problem with them putting something up, just something tasteful that reflects well on this university.
Yeah, that's very understandable. Something else that has been in the news concerning the art is combining the band and the art building. We have a fairly new art building in Brinson Art, and they're thinking of combining the two buildings and making them into one. Does anyone have any special feelings about that?
I've taken classes in the art building. I've taken classes in the music building. I've noticed that both of them have been filled to their capacity within their own respect. The art building is a new building that's very nice, and one summer they had band trials for high school over there, and it was real loud. We even had to stop class for the students to continue their trials, and I consider that, I think that would be something that will be taking place quite a bit, classes stopping in order for the rehearsal to go on, and for people to play their instruments like they need to in order to practice and that type of thing. And I'm just glad to say that I'm graduating. I want to be over there for it, but for those that's going to, I bet it will be something that be very disturbing for them.
I can't get over, the building is brand new. It's not even 2 years old, and they knew that they were going to have to do something about a new music building. Why didn't they go ahead and plan to build an art building and music building? But be cohesive.
Why don't they just build onto the existing music building that's already there? There's plenty of room over there around it. It's got a whole yard back behind it. They got plenty of room for expansion over there, and they wouldn't even have to worry about messing with the art students. I agree. It would be a major detriment to art classes if you got a band playing some march right in the middle of class and you can't even hear what the professor's saying.
I must agree. I believe the art building is a good way to draw art students to this campus, because I have had a class over in the art building. It's very nice. It's one of the nicest buildings on campus. I think it'd be a shame to combine the buildings and really throw off the whole art atmosphere that they have at the Brinson Art Building. We also know in the headlines, especially in the college newspaper, they're thinking about a tuition increase next semester, which people say that if they can increase tuition, why not use that towards a new band building instead of combining the two? Any personal feelings on that?
Well, nothing personal for me. I'm graduating now. I won't be around to see it, but just my experiences since I've been here. This is my into my 5th year, and the experiences that I had since I've been here. When I first came, it was right around a little bit over $600, and it's went up $200 since the time I've been here, and going up again. So I know how students are feeling once they come back and have to pay, you know, $1,000 for tuition is what they reporting it will be. That's quite a bit, you know. A lot of students on this campus are having to do it on their own, no grants and that type of thing, and for them to come up with the extra $130, you know, to pay tuition, you know, it hurts. It really does. And just from my point of view, I plan to come to school here for grad school here, and you know, I imagine that will affect that too. And so it'll hurt a lot of people, and you know, if the money's being used for something, I can see it. But in the past, I haven't seen where there's been a lot of growth, even though they have built new buildings and that type of thing. But I think that was just all due. You know, that's just something I think they had in the plan already. So I don't think that was the increase helped it at all. But you know, I have to go by what the board of directors have deemed for this college in order to be, you know, a top school for the 90s and 2000.
What is the excuse that they're giving for raising the tuition?
Well, I'm not real clear on that, but it is apparent that the increase is going to happen. We know a large percentage of the people at this school are commuters. I know we have 2 commuters here on this panel. Can you think of any way that money can be used to make this campus more adequate for people who do commute?
Bill.
I think they should make they have the UC right now, which it's a nice place, but they need to have something that has a more I don't know. It's such a public atmosphere over there. It's very difficult to go over there and relax between classes because you're always sitting there looking around, seeing all's in there, you know, trying to see if it's not relaxing, not very relaxing. And it would be a lot better if there were, I'd say, a smaller type lounge for commuters and that type of thing.
Well, I commute, and this is my 2nd year commuting, and I agree with him. You know, you go to the UC and they have what's called a commuter lounge. It's 3 sofas and a TV. You know, and you know, if everybody try to pack in, as well as students that live on campus that don't want to walk back to their room, try to pack into one room, you know, how peaceful is it for the commuters? There's really nothing for the commuters to go, a place for them to go where they can study between classes and that type of thing. Unless you go in the business building, they have the lounge over there. But if you got class over in Peace, you know, where are you going then? You know, unless you walk across campus. So I think, you know, building something for the commuters, you know, for them to go and study, to relax, you know, between classes, especially during finals. There's really nothing unless you go to the library, you know, and really, you know, that's my last place I want to be because I've been there all semester. And so, you know, there's really nothing for them to, you know, to have in order to, you know, make this a more peaceful time over here while you do have to wait between classes.
I've commuted to SAU as well. I'm on campus now, but my major problem was not finding some place to relax, but finding a place to park.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd come in about 9 o'clock every morning, and sure enough, every parking spot on campus would be filled, except for maybe way over by the football field. And that gets old real quick, especially when it's raining or when it's cold. And what makes me even, you know, more mad is there's a huge area right behind Herrin that's nothing really but trees and pine straw. It's a perfect spot for parking, and I know it'd be used. Yes, it is expensive, but I don't know. Maybe make the parking permits, you know, $5 more, and put that money towards more parking. But if I want to relax, the Bruce Centers, if I want to eat and relax, I'll go to the Bruce Center. If I want to relax and study, I'll go to the library.
One thing that, to agree with what you said, I've noticed that there's been a large increase in commuters, and so the park is becoming scarce. I lived on campus my first 2 years at this school, and a ratio that, as I was an RA, a ratio that we noticed that for every 2 students that commute, there was only 1 that lived on campus. So imagine a ratio of 2 to 1, and everybody trying to get a park, a parking spot, and there's not any. You have to walk clear across campus in order to get to your classes and that type of thing, and it's really an inconvenience, And if you don't get here before 8 o'clock, you're not going to get a parking space close. I've noticed that. And I have an 8 o'clock class, and I still don't get here early enough in order to get a parking spot.
Another thing I think that they would be able to do with the extra money that's coming in is make us an entertainment center. We don't have anything like UCA. They have got, and they just built a new student commons type thing, and they have got a whole floor devoted to. They've got all kinds of video games, foosball, stuff like that. I mean, just stuff to where people can go in and relax. They've got card tables, chess tables, checker tables, all this kind of stuff where people can go in and have a good time. That would be a good thing for the commuters too, where they could go in there and spend a little time with worthless entertainment.
Yeah. I think these are all some good ideas, and unfortunately that's going to wrap up this edition of Discussion 97. I want to thank Bill, Braden, and Spencer for joining me this evening.
Thank you.
I appreciate your comments and your questions. We'll see you next time.
Today, my guests are the following of Taurus, Kerry, Roshunda, and Cara, and myself, John. And so, Taurus, let's hear your opinion on this topic.
Well, I feel as though racism on campus is not really evident, but I think it's a silent racism. Everybody gets into their own little groups, and that's in a bad mouth the other races or whatever. Nobody wants to get out and interact with other races. Everybody wants to stick to their own, pretty much.
I hear, for instance, in the cafeteria.
Yeah, the cafeteria is the biggest segregation I've ever seen. In the front in the cafeteria, you have the foreign students who only seem to interact with themselves. Yeah. In the middle, in the outside, you have the white Caucasian students. On the borderline, you have the black students who only seem to interact with themselves. And
And you never see them intermix. You don't see the whites and the blacks sitting together. And I can give you a prime example of one day the way they arrange the tables in the cafeteria. If they have them really long, there is times where it is so crowded in there that there was one evening, me and a group of girls went in there to eat, and we sat at our little part like we always do, and then there was some black girls sitting on the end, and it was just like there was 2 seats in between us. It was like, here we are, and then there was 2 seats, and then they were, down there, and it was just like, I don't mind sitting. I'm from a big city, and one of my best friends was a black girl. She goes to Stanford. Her parents are, graduates of Stanford. And when I came down here, it was very hard for me I've noticed that, you're just looked almost down upon if you're, it's not bad for me to talk to Roshunda, but if I'm talking to Taurus or even flirting just a little, I'm automatically, having a little fling, I guess you could say, and it's just not appropriate here whatsoever, which is wrong because that's not what the real world is all about.
Well, do you guys think it's just because of the small community or the small town? Personally, I'm from a bigger town, and there isn't as much of segregation there. Pretty much everyone is equal. That's how I see it. But
well, I wasn't here last year, but a lot of people say that the way the cafeteria is set up is much different from what it is this year. Because last year it was set up to where they really could, say it was segregated because they was, sectioned off more. And this year it's like the chairs just gather up together. You just sit anywhere and people don't think this.
Right.
You're being segregated.
Being from here, when I started school, grade school all the way up, it's just been like you were just taught, that's just the way it is in the South.
Right.
And when I came to college here, it may seem to y'all that it's very segregated, but to me, it's a lot less because, I have more black friends here that are good friends and foreign students that normally, I just would have never, crossed paths with. Not that I didn't want to or anything like that, but, that's just the way it was. And once I came here, it's totally different. I have a lot of really close friends, and just like you said, things have been said just because, because of people that are from here. And it's just totally the South still breathing
them
that
being
into
brought up that way,
Exactly.
and you don't play with the black little girl next door, you play with your white little friend and see. Like I said, I wasn't born into that. I'm lucky I got to travel and live in different places and see. I've seen, Indians, they've been called names, but it still doesn't matter. We all intermix, and I guess I just really have a hard time, if I walk into the cafeteria, and just today I went and talked to you, was it today? And, people were looking at me, they know good and well I have a white man, it's just, it shouldn't be that way. If I'm talking to Taurus, and he even came up to my room the other night, and my girlfriends know that I have a white boyfriend, and if I'm friends with him, that should be fine. But there's others that have a big problem with it, and I just think also a lot of the people that go to school here are going to stay around here, and they're not going to get out of this state, so they will never see the difference.
I think people here, they're scared of change, because
Right.
it's been this way for so long. They're scared of it. They just, I don't understand.
It's almost like it's an unspoken underlying thing that just seeps on to generation to generation. It's not necessarily that, you're told you cannot, go out with a black person, or you cannot, be friends with them or anything like that, but it's just kind of an unspoken underlying thing. But I think through education, through me coming to school here, it's helped me immensely, and I know that this is just not even touching, any kind of thing on the whole picture, but to me it has helped me, and it's helped me immensely, and I have a totally different view, and I'm not going to stay here. I will not be here forever, and I'm glad that I've had a little touch of the
Other
vision.
thing, right.
It's like, coming from Canada, Toronto, I can see a big difference. Like, Canada is pretty much known as like a multicultural country.
Right.
And like in these southern states, pretty much everyone's, I guess, scared of different cultures. They're just,
Well, they're just not you.
people don't like to expand in their horizon.
Right.
They
Well,
don't like
it's
to look forward. They're just, too narrow-minded into their own thing, and they don't like to see other things.
And that goes back to they're going to stay here, they're comfortable here,
Exactly.
and that's that. And it's hard for, even our foreign exchange students to come in, and, I talk to all of them, but it's like, here they are sitting in the cafeteria in their own little section, and they all hang out
All little
together, and
cliques,
it's like, we need to get to know them and get to know what they're all about, and what, where they come from and their culture, and learn. And a lot of people are just scared.
And the thing is, all of them are from different countries, and they can interact with each other better than they can interact with us,
Right.
And we're supposed to be here for the longest, and they come here thinking America's old, beautiful, so, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they think America's such the greatest country, the melting pot, and they come here and nobody seems to want to talk to them or anything like that. I've talked to all of them.
I think they should just have like a multicultural day here in school.
But
where
no one would
everyone-
go. That goes back to also Greeks too. Like when we have parties, we had a Greek party. We're both members of Alpha Sigma Alpha. We had a Greek party with Alpha Kappa Alpha, and we were all there, but none of our other friends came. And all there, and there were other, African Americans that came and had fun and blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't, I just don't think we'll ever be able to get out, at least here, unless you leave, then you will realize, that it's, my outlook on it, there's going to be racism wherever you go.
I hear you.
And you're going to stick to your kind, and that's that,
But I think just things around here have to, you need a little change. Fine, there's all these parties at the WLF or
VFW.
VFW, thank you, sorry. Those buildings, and pretty much they're all the same. You know, like I've gone to a couple, and I pretty much just stand by the front door. Like it's kind of, I see it as boring. You know, but I think they should have some kind of like carnival or something, you know, in the square, you know, just where everyone is tempted to go. You know, like you have to have an idea, you know, what makes everyone like, you know, join together.
Right.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and we was talking about, and they don't really know too much. You know, they really don't see racism the way I do because they live here and stuff. But at the football games, you know, I'll be on the field, and I come on the sideline, I look up, okay, you have the black student section over here, do you have the white student section way over on the other side? You know, then you have the parents in the middle. You know, shouldn't we just have one big gigantic student section? You know, instead of having the whites over here, blacks over here, you know, then foreigners, they mix in wherever they can fit in, you know?
But also, I've noticed, being from here, the people that I went to school with and were raised with that were African American, and then the people that have come from other places that are African American are two different things, totally two different things. Because for one, I think when they were raised here, you know, we all see the color line. That's the bottom line. But people who are from elsewhere, those are some of my best friends because they don't see it. And you know, I can't see it anymore.
Right.
So therefore it's all good. But I think that's why there's the two sections, you know. It's a lot of people that are from here, blacks and whites, you know, and they don't want to change. They don't want to get away from their little areas, you know. And I think
the bottom line is closed-mindedness in every aspect. You know, around here, you know, a lot of people. We don't have culture here. We have, you know, everyone's set little schedules, and we're used to this. And you know, just like you said, change. You know. I think a lot of people around here are afraid of, you know, change.
Yeah, but a lot of people around here just think that this little town is the world. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, they don't understand that there's a whole world out there, and you have to interact. Like, you can't just stay to your one little group.
Right.
You know, like, I see a lot of people around here, like, their ambitions in life, you know, is to get a little house and get a wife and... You know, and that's it. You know, they have no, you know, drives in life to do anything. And you have to meet people. You have to be motivated to do things. You know, and just people here are not really motivated. You know, like.
Well, I think that also goes with opportunities too. Small town, less opportunities. You know, if there was a lot more job opportunities out there, you know, maybe that would intermix people. You know, I mean, here you have more factories and that type of thing. I mean, you do have your big businesses, but, you know, the majority are, you know, factory workers. You have your hunters, and that's it, so.
Yeah, but what's to stop someone from starting their own little business?
But they won't. This town does not want change.
Well,
so.
I think life is about change and how well you deal with it.
See, I grew up, I grew up in town close to the big city and stuff, and I go there quite often. And I see Muslims all the time. You see everything in Houston, Texas. I mean, they're everything, everybody. You see Canadians, Africans, and stuff, real Germans, and everything, you know. And these people, you have to interact with each other there. Why can't you do it here? You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
We can try.
Yeah, and that's what we should do. We should try. Well, thank you. We're just about run out of time. Thank you, everyone, for your deep thoughts of this discussion, and hope we'll come back again for another little talk.